Today's class, I will be teaching about two thermodynamical approaches that are microscopic and microscopic approach. So what are these? We can study thermodynamics in basically two methods, via microscopic approach or macroscopic approach. So microscopic is basically dealing up with the molecules. You can say studying at a molecular level, and macroscopic studying a whole system, not considering the each and every molecular interaction, but yes, considering the behavior of individual molecules as a whole system, as a bulk. We are considering the bulk material, not the intermolecular interaction. So we will be analyzing the properties of particular mass of substance and studying substance as a whole, but not at a molecular level or atomic level. But at macroscopic approach, we use quantum mechanics or quantum physics, which is called as statistical mechanics in terms of your, it is a statistical method in terms of your thermodynamics. And the quantum mechanics which is dealing with this microscopic approach at a molecular level, that particular physics is called as statistical physics or statistical mechanics. So in your syllabus, you will be learning about macroscopic approach, that is studying molecule as a whole, studying the overall properties and how they're interacting and behaving, and how the heat transfer with occurring, work done on the system by the system is happening. So all these things will be dealt up in this particular unit after your syllabus. So behavior in microscopic approach, behavior of system is found by using the statistical method, as I told you. Principle of quantum mechanics or quantum physics will be used in this particular part. And as the number of molecules is very large, so we need to take into consideration each and every molecule. Each and every molecule is considered in this particular approach. But if we talk about the macroscopic part of approach, yes, we can use simple and direct formulas of maths to solve the problems of thermodynamics. So if we talk about microscopic approach, the properties like velocity, momentum, impulse, kinetic energy, etc., which describe the molecular properties, cannot be easily measured by the instrument. Actually, it is not possible, obviously. For example, if we talk about electrons, we cannot measure electron velocity by Newton's laws. The classical mechanics cannot explain the subatomic, the subatomic particle mechanics. A special part of physics is involved, that is quantum mechanics. If we are talking about thermodynamics, we said statistical physics is there to do so. So obviously, intermolecular interaction cannot be studied by these instruments, but we need to devise a better and sophisticated method, and you can say complex level of physics to analyze these things. The large number of variables is needed. We are talking about each and every molecule, how they're interacting, how collisions are occurring, how they are transferring the energy from one point to another. So there will be so many variables to deal up with, and we need to study each and every molecule's behavior to describe the whole system. So this approach is very complicated. So if we are focusing on the engineering point of view, you are basically considered on the device applications. So microscopic approach is not required in that, but yes, we need to study the substance properties as a whole, because we are going to design some devices or instruments in future. So in the macroscopic approach, analysis requires simple maths formula to solve. Properties like temperature, pressure, volume, these are required to describe the system, and these are easy to measure. We have so many devices, instruments to measure them. Okay, like temperature can be measured by thermometer. Similarly, pressure can be also measured in the digital devices. Okay, barometers are there. So only few properties are needed to describe such a system, not uh, huge properties or a huge thing. Large number of variables are needed to describe this microscopic system. But in macroscopic approach, only few properties are more than enough to describe the system. Okay. So macroscopic approach is basically following, you can say, Newton's law, and they are like classical mechanics problems. And we are talking about the system as a whole. We're talking about the substance properties, not at the molecular level. As simple as that. So in this unit, we will be focusing on the macroscopic approach. Okay. Now comes the very important concept of continuum. Okay. This is one of the factors which is considered very important to determine like whether we are working in microscopic system or macroscopic system. Okay. So now validity of continuum model is based on the molecular density. So this graph is actually showing you the molecular density curve. Volume of system is taken on x-axis, average mass density is taken on y-axis. So what is happening? When as at this particular point, if we see at this particular point, the volume is very low, the volume is very low, then the interaction can be in any way. Average mass density can vary because if I take this much amount of volume, see this much amount of volume is taken inside a whole system. What is happening? It is interacting with these molecules which are around them. They are colliding and they are getting disturbed, interacting, and velocity is changing. Some are leaving the system, some are entering the system. Some molecules leaving, some are entering. The density, it is mass per unit volume. That is density is changing. The average mass density keeps on fluctuating here. It keeps on fluctuating here. That is the region of non-continuum when volume is very very low. Okay. But at certain point limit, I keep on increasing my space. Okay, I consider this one again. It is a microscopic approach. It will come in microscopic approach. I won't be able to give a constant density value for this because the way particle interacting on the wall, the way particle interacting on the surface, the way particle interacting within the volume, it's actually different because forces exerted on these particles are also different. It is getting interacted on all the sides. But if we talk about the surface molecule, it is half of the like above the molecule, it is not having any force of interaction or attraction repulsion, but below this particular molecule surface area it is interacting. In this manner, we have to take a threshold volume inside this whole volume such that we can enter into region of continuum. That is being described by the continuum model. Okay, so as we can see, it is like first of all we need to know about the mean free path distance, the distance with which the molecule is traveling without any collision. No collision is happening between two successive collisions. So it is a free path, mean free path, the path traveled by the molecule between two successive collisions, and during this mean free path there were no collisions happening. Okay, and it is calculated by finding the statistical average distance the molecule travel between two successive collisions, which I told you just now. And its mean free path, if we talk about lambda value, it is very small compared with the characteristic length in the flow domain. Then the gas can be treated as a continuous medium. This is actually given by the Knudsen number. That we are talking about some characteristic length, which is capital L. Mean free path is given by lambda. If mean free path, if lambda is very very smaller than L, okay, then gas is treated as a continuum medium. Lambda is very very smaller than L, gas is a continuum medium, and the value for which it is actually Kn must be, you can say it must be less than like Kn value is having a limit of 0.1. Okay, so if the mean free path is very small as compared with L value, we can treat the gas to be a continuous medium because when lambda is less than L, mean free path is and what is characteristic length? The length which is taken under observation. Within that, lambda is a mean free path with which with which the particle is traveling freely between two successive collisions. This means molecular density is very high. And you can see in this graph if molecular density is high, okay, so molecular density is very high, we will enter into region of continuum and it is stable also. And if mean free path is large in comparison to characteristic length L, if opposite is happening, then mean free path is very large, the gas cannot be considered as continuous but it will enter into region of non-continuum. And we have to analyze the molecular theory, which I was telling you. Molecular theory is actually coming under the microscopic approach. So we will be entering into microscopic approach at that particular point. Okay, so container model is distinguishing or separating the microscopic approach from the macroscopic one, or you can say region of continuum to region of non-continuum. The dimensionless parameter Knudsen number. This is the threshold value, which is actually dividing the region of continuum and non-continuum. So it is describing the degree of departure from continuum. Okay, so Kn is given by lambda upon capital N. This is how we can consider. So what is the largest volume value we can consider to work in macroscopic approach? That is given by Knudsen number. So we will take the ratio. If lambda is very less than L, that's very good, and we can move in the continuum medium. So if volume is greater than this particular threshold value, we are into region of continuum. Like if I am considering half of this volume, and this is entering into continuum region, so I can say that, okay, if I find out properties for this particular system, I can generalize it to the whole system. That is the meaning. Okay, so I can generalize it to the whole system. But if I take a small microscopic approach, I need to calculate the each and every molecule's interaction with other molecule. Then only I can generalize to the whole system. Else, the molecule which is interacting at this point, just by finding about any one molecule, I cannot generalize it to the whole system. So microscopic approach is a complex one. Macroscopic is a simpler one to solve. So first we have to move into region of continuum, considering a macroscopic amount of volume, and then solving it using the simple mathematical formulas. Okay. So the continuum model is actually showing you the parameters which are directly used in our mathematical expressions to solve for the various energy values, heat values, work done values, and so on. The continuum model is actually depicting you the macroscopic approach. And this is showing you molecular interaction, but we are not considered about that. And movement of collision of molecules are considered in the microscopic part. So this is just to show you how macroscopic approach involves so much collisions and what kind of collision was there, elastic and inelastic. But we are in continuum model, we are considering the gas molecules, even the gas molecules, to be arranged in a tightly and continuous manner. All the molecules are arranged in a tight manner and they are continuous in nature. We are like thinking or imagining it as a whole substance. It's a continuum. Whole molecule system is acting as a continuum. That was the continuum model. Then only we can apply the macroscopic approach to solve the numerical, to solve the questions. Okay. Then comes the next concept of equilibrium. So equilibrium can be of three types. Basically, it is the state of balance. Then system is in balance. Okay. So equilibrium can be classified as chemical, mechanical, and thermal. If we talk about chemical, we can simply say rate of forward reaction is equal to backward reaction, and say chemically system is in equilibrium. There is no chemical reaction occurring. Reactants are not getting converted into products. They are in stable position. Reactants and products are forming a stability curve. So it's a chemical equilibrium. Mechanical means no unbalanced forces. All the forces, if I am standing here, there is no force here, no force here. I'm standing simply, I'm like all the forces, even if the force is applied on me from the left hand side, then same force applied from the right hand side. So I am in a balanced condition. So no unbalanced force. If equal and opposite amount of force is applied at every direction, from every direction, so no unbalanced forces in the system are there, then the system is said to be in the mechanical equilibrium. And if we talk about the thermal equilibrium, yes, there is no difference in temperatures. Okay. So when a system is prevailing in chemical and mechanical, it's separated from its equilibrium, and system is separated from its surroundings by a diathermic wall, and if no spontaneous change in any property of system occurs, the system is said to be in thermal equilibrium. You can see the isolated system. It's in thermal equilibrium always, yeah. So now comes the thermodynamic properties. How thermodynamic properties of the systems are defined. Okay, these are for defining the system only. So volume, pressure, temperature, all these are thermodynamic properties which tells us about the system, how it is behaving. So we can classify in two terms, either intensive or extensive. They are intensive in nature or extensive in nature. First of all, I will be telling you about the intensive property. These are those properties which have same value for any part of system, or we can say these are independent of the mass of system, like temperature, pressure, density. Again comes a macroscopic approach, right? And if we talk about extensive property, these are not same throughout. They do not maintain the same value for any part of system. Okay, so these are path dependent. These properties are path dependent, and these change with the mass of system also. Okay, depend on the path which is being followed and depend on the mass. So enthalpy and energy, these are coming under the extensive property, even the volume. Okay, the ratio of extensive property to mass of system gives the intensive property, because volume upon mass, ratio of volume upon mass is known as the specific volume. So it is actually a intensive property. Okay, so it is actually depending on the it is same throughout the system. Okay, it is not a part dependent one. So part dependents are those if all the changes of state of system are plotted, the line joining the changes of state of system is known as path. Like I'm going from you can say state A to state B. I can go directly also. I can follow this path also. I can take a longer path also. So going to point C, then going to point B. So this is showing you path. How the system attained temperatures from 0 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. I can say directly. I can say in between it got stable at 50 degrees Celsius also. So depending on the path followed. Okay. So, but temperature is an intensive property. It is not part dependent. Okay. So we can talk about the yes path if all the changes of state of system plotted. Agar, if I say it directly, the if I plot the 2 points, this is the path. Process is the complete description of change of state. Complete description of change of state through a specific path. How the process is telling you how the changes have occurred inside the system. And cycle is the series of state of changes such that the initial is identical with the final state. That is, an example is the Carnot's engine. I will let you know about the Carnot, how it is cyclic in nature. Or you can say reversible processes in thermodynamics. They are also cyclic in nature. I am at point A, then reach to point B, again going to C and going back to the point A. This is a cyclic process. Repeatedly, I am reaching back to the point A. Initial and final points are same. That is a cycle. Okay. So these are the fundamental things which you need to understand before understanding more details on the thermodynamics. Okay. So in today's class, we discuss about the continuum model, the microscopic and macroscopic approach, and then about various equilibrium conditions and various properties which are there in thermodynamics. Okay, thank you class. In the next lab, we will be telling more about thermodynamic properties and processes which are occurring. Okay, thank you.